What's up, guys? I guess this is an episode of. I think I'm going to change the name of the podcast. I'm going to call it Squeegee Life. I think is what I'm going to call it. I mean, at this point, it's pretty much not. I don't know. It's not really the outlaw window cleaner radio as it started out to be. The other guys are finding it difficult to find the time to do this, which I can completely understand. Circumstances be that they may. It's the busy season, so as of right now, this is Squeegee Life with T Squeegee and sometimes a co-host. Yeah. But good thing about it is that I'm able to have Mark Tanner on sometimes, and that's cool. The guests, I'll be honest with you, I haven't really been looking for anybody to be on. The guest thing seems to, I don't know, it attracts good people, but I don't think, I think people are kind of hesitant to come on here, and I know why, and that's cool. I'm okay with that. I didn't start doing this to be everyone's favorite window squeegee guy, but people download it on iTunes and stuff, and that's good. The ratings are, as far, not so much the ratings. I'm not getting any ratings. You guys are downloading the podcast on iTunes and Podbean, but not rating it. Come on, guys. Come on, man. Jeez. Oh, that just scared me. My gun case just slid and hit the floor with all my handguns in it. Scared the shit out of me. I'm gonna set something up here so people can listen to this podcast, and you don't have to be a guest. Maybe you just want to share a story or an experience or technique or some kind of advice when it comes to window cleaning or life or whatever, and throwback. You don't want to be on the show. You don't, doing videos not really your thing. Doing audio is not really your thing. Maybe you just want to write me an email. So I think what I'm going to do is, let's do CNWC Ohio at AOL.com. If you got and then the subject, just put Ask T Squeegee. It's one of my emails that I have, so send me, if you got, I'll read your email on the podcast. That'd be super cool. So like I said, if you want to send me an email and have one of us read it, maybe me or Mark or Tim or Josh, I think we're going to be seeing some more of Tim on the podcast here soon. Tim's starting to get a hold on things, so get his situation worked out. He had one of his employees got hurt, and he's kind of been super backed up, and I think he's just about to come out of that woods there, so he should be good to come on. I know we've tried a couple times, but he's had some issues with his internet, but I think that's all straightened out now, so, I just got some free time. I'm going to do a podcast for you, so I got some questions in group, but if you want your email read on the Squeegee Life podcast, send an email to C as in cat, N as in Nancy, W as in window, and C as in cleaning, Ohio at AOL.com. And in the subject, it should just say Ask T Squeegee, and I'll read your email on here. As soon as I get it, the following episode, it'll get read. Let's see here. I've been, as you can see, my face is burnt up. I'm stuffed up. My nose is stuffed up. I have really bad allergies. I know people give me shit for coughing all the time, but I'm like, me and my son are like allergic to everything. So, I don't have the best lungs to begin with, and plus I smoke, and that's, it just makes it even worse. So, you have to bear with me. I kind of sound like shit. But, yeah, man, I've been kicking ass out there. I want to thank Aaron Bronow, sent me a pretty cool private message about the way I clean windows and stuff, and he, maybe he saw something that he might want to, add to his game or try. I thought that was cool, man. Thanks for reaching out to me. That was cool. That's cool that, there's a bunch of people, I'm not saying the thousands upon thousands of window cleaners out there are listening to this podcast, but it's reaching a decent audience, and the people that I interact with are not so much learning, but absorbing some of the things that I do, or Tim does, or Josh does, or Mark does, and they're applying it to their game, and it's helping them out. I think that's cool, man. It ain't got to be our way, but, maybe you take some of that yourself and do something cool with it, apply it to your business, apply it to your technique, apply it to your process. That's kick-ass. I got a question here from Aden, ADAN, Hamilton. First accounts cleaning them. What I mean is the account that I had that have been sitting idle for years, and they want you to clean them. Have they? Boy, I've had a couple of them, and they never come out perfect the first time. It takes a couple cleanings to get it spotless. Being still new, I am not working it enough, or does it always take a couple of times to get it spotless? I'm trying to, how do I approach this subject without, I don't want to come off mean or anything like that, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way if it does come out the wrong way. And when I bid something and it's a first time cleaning, I let them know straight away when I bid it. This is what it's going to cost for me to do this once a month or twice a month. If people do things more often, I tend to give them a little bit more of a break. So if they want to do something on a monthly basis, or if it's a big job quarterly, whatever the case may be, they will get more of a break than other people. But that initial cleaning, if it's bad, you got to do what you got to do. Normally, if I have I see in your picture here, you posted a picture of a storefront that you did. It looks like a Taco Bell. I could be wrong, but it's a taco place maybe of some sorts. I don't know. I do a lot of restaurants, and if that's what you're talking about, you got to kind of, you got to bid, you got to make sure when you bid the job, you got to explain that to them right out the gate. That it's going to take you longer, dude. So you're like, man, I'm going to have to be here forever doing this. You got to price that accordingly. A first time cleaning, in my opinion, if I have to pull out the 6-inch blade or the steel wool, or the web duster, and I gotta clean all the framework down because it's completely disgusting, and it's covered with spider webs and spider egg nests, and they got can of mold spore all over the glass. It's most likely gonna need scrape to get all that shit off of there. I mean, of course, you have to use the proper precautions when doing that. So, you don't just scrape every damn window. You test a spot. If it sounds good, it feels good. In my experience, if it feels good and it sounds good, you're good to go. But still be careful, because it's the first time you're cleaning these windows. So, but you got to condition the window. That's what I call it. I got to whip it into shape. You got to condition it. If you've never cleaned the windows before, even if they had another window cleaner there, he may not do what you're doing. You know what I mean? I can usually tell just by walking up and looking at them, how bad it's going to be. So sometimes those things are fuzzy as shit, and they're almost opaque. And, they're going to need a blade. So normally what I do, and I'll do a video kind of some of this overview, I guess. I got an account coming up soon that is right in front of a rock quarry. It's pretty nasty, and I'll be able to show you what I mean by when I explain this. But usually what I do is I wet all my windows down and I let them soak, because if the frames are nasty and it's all beat up, you're going to be there scrubbing all that shit anyways to make it look good anyways. So I condition the windows is what I call it. I wash everything down, let it sit, and then depending on how long that takes me, I might go back and work my way with my washer and my blade. I'll hit it again, pop it with the scraper or some wet steel wool, some 4-0 steel wool, kind of buff it out, and then take my sea sponge in clean water, not soapy water, clean water. I got a little bucket just for that, and wipe all the edges out. You don't want it super wet. You kind of want it damp, because it's going to pick up water as you're going around. And I wipe everything around and then hit them, again, and then squeegee them all out and then detail if I need to. But normally, if you've got your sea sponge and wipe the edges good, you don't have to you'll see what I'm saying. Wipe all the framework. I usually do the framework and the window at the same time and then squeegee it. Normally, that will suffice. You know what I mean? That should suffice. That should get them pretty damn close to perfect. If you're thorough and you're not trying to rush it, and then keep going. Wipe all my framework down, and then that way, every time I go back there, that money is boom, 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 boom. I'm making it fast. That first time should be the time where you beat those windows into submission. You charge a little bit more, but you also keep in mind that I'm going to be doing this every month, and every month a check's going to come in the mail after I get done doing it, or they're going to pay you on the spot. So to me, you might want to take a little bit of a lump on the head, a little bit. I'm not saying don't charge them extra for that thorough cleaning, but just explain to them what you're going to do. And 90% of the time, I'd say 95% of the time, when I explain that to them, they're cool with it, they pay it, and then we have a good relationship after that, because their storefront looks badass and the guy next door don't give a shit, and you know what I mean? So it might work for you. I don't know, try that out. I hope that answers your question, man. But the main thing is, buddy, Aiden, is always remember that when you bid something, you got to make sure that you don't sell yourself short, and you allow for that work to be done. And then, like I said, you explain to them, this is what it's going to cost the first time, and this is why it's going to cost that much. I'm going to wipe your framework down. Everything's going to be buffed out, washed good, and wiped down. The framework will look good, and this is why that's that much. And then if they have you on a monthly service, and then you tell them every month, this is what it'll be for a normal cleaning. And I'm 99% of the time, 95% of the time, they usually go for it. Sometimes they don't. You just, okay, cool. Fernando Trevino, the hot topic, gunslinger versus samurai. The samurai is still going to hit you in the back of the knee, still going to tip on you. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't pass any judgment on it, to be honest with you, Fernando. I have a gunslinger, and it's no secret that I like them. I'm supporting them 100%. So, because I just based on me using it, and Richie's a cool dude, so But I've had one for a couple of months now, and I'm just never going back. I'm just never going back to the plastic one. I've been doing this since 2005 or 6. So, I've been doing it a little while, 2005, full time. So, I've been using a plastic bucket on my hip for a long time now. Up and down ladders, residential work, commercial work. I haven't done any high-rise work, but, the commercial side, lift work, stuff of that nature, water-fed pole. I just really started doing more water-fed pole over, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Once, I'll be honest, once I bought the Reach It pole, kind of changed the way I did things, just because of the way it broke down. It's a pretty versatile tool, you know what I mean? I went to WCR to buy our water-fed pole, and that was back when they sold Reach It, and they kind of encouraged me to buy it, and I'm glad that they did, because it's turned out, been one of the better investments I've made outside of my hydro cart, and a close second to the the pole is that rhino tube is, and the rhino tube and the rhino hose is badass, man. I mean, I've got probably close to 600 feet in length of reach. I can put my truck somewhere. I've got a 5-stage hydro cart and it's heavy as shit. And taking it in and out of the truck is a bummer. So I try not to do it. And I just leave it in the truck. Run my hose, to the truck. Turn her on and get her going, and just run that hose out. And sometimes there's instances I have 2 Reach It Minis. One I purchased 4 or 5 years ago, a Reach It Mini, and one I won during a live stream on Facebook. And I run the Rhino hose out. I split it off into Rhino tube. I keeps my pressure on point, and 2 guys are going at once. So savagery. I mean, I don't know, man. The Reach It poles make me money, so it's hard not to be like, they're awesome, you know what I mean? So that's a point of a contention. People like to get on here and talk shit because I like Reach It stuff. They think that I'm like I'm being paid, but I'm not, man. It's good stuff. And what's cool, what brings me to all that is the gunslinger and the samurai thing. I haven't used a samurai, so I can't make a judgment on it. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome product. For if that's where you're wanting to lean more towards a plastic bucket, price range, and anything else anybody wants to attach to the gunslinger, they don't want to be associated with that for whatever ridiculous reason. You can go. There's going to be a new plastic version out with some updates to it apparently. So that's cool, man. I don't see anything wrong with that. Price point's an issue for some people, but for other people, they see the value in what the gunslinger is. And to me, after having the product in my hand for a couple of months, the price really doesn't bother me. I mean, I have one. Richie made a prototype for me to test, which was super awesome. And came personalized. He signed the back of it with a Sharpie, which was fucking super kick ass. I ordered another one. When they put the pre-order up, I was one of the first people to, I think I put my pre-order in February 8th. I've got the receipt, so I can prove it if I need to. But I was one of the first people. I think it might have been the day they announced it. I pre-ordered it that day. That's the kind of impression me talking with Richie and everything made on me. I was like, you know what, I'm going to try this out. And then shortly after that, some people bowed out on, some things, and I ended up hopping in line for one. So, he had an extra one, or didn't mind making an extra one for me. He got Josh and Josh and Tim had one, and why not one for T Squeegee and let him try it out too, which was super cool. And that's what really launched my YouTube channel, was doing the gunslinger videos. Tim asked me to do the gunslinger videos. He said, I got this for you. Why don't you try this out? So he sent it up here, and I rocked it out. 2 months, it's kick ass, man. Double washers, big washers, multiple channels, your scraper, all in one thing. 2 channels, 2 washers if you want, 2 different size washers, a scraper or another squeegee, all in one thing, and it's not huge. I know, like I said, people see this and they're like, oh man, but I'm telling you, once it's on you, it's less cumbersome in a house for me than my plastic bucket, because it was all over the fucking place. And this thing kind of rocks with you. Once like I said, you'll see once you get it. It's cool. So, and as far as the samurai goes, man, I haven't seen it. I don't know. It's a mystery right now. I'm anxious to see it. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, so who's not anxious to see it? I'm ready to see it. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not going to say anything about the situation because I don't know nothing about it. I've never touched one. So, I'm not that guy. I'm not like other dudes. I don't I don't need to do that to get my point across. It's a plastic bucket on a belt. It's a revamp of that. I haven't seen it yet, and that's all I can say. I'm not gonna bash it. But thanks for the question, though, Fernando. It's probably still gonna bang the back of your knee, and I don't know about the tipping though. I don't know. I mean, the gunslinger kind of rubs on your knee too, but it's not hard, and I guess that's the difference. Some guy told me once, if you're worried about that bucket banging you on the back of the leg, you need to grow a set. So maybe I just need to reinsert my tampon and go back to work. I guess I don't know. maybe I'm having a man moment. I don't know. My man pon. So I shouldn't have said tampon. I should have said man pon. But I don't know. That's the bang. That's just one thing on a list of things. The wet leg is the main thing for me. I can tell you right now, my hip is not wet like it used to be, and that's fucking that. And then people are like, this is part of the job. Well, cool, man. That's cool. I'm okay with that. I know Joshua Shoaf. Joshua Shoaf, I think, likes to get his pant leg wet. Maybe it's pee. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to cover it up. I don't know. But that was my main thing, was because I started using it when it was super cold outside, and not having your pant leg wet in the wintertime is nice, especially if you work in the cold like we do. It's nice. That coupled with the fact that it's not flopping all over the place. It holds a lot of tools. The tip jar feature, you can pull your tools out, unlatch that, and either dump the excess water out or dip your washer and then lock it back up, and you don't have to run to the truck. You get a little longer away from the truck and the bucket with this too. And it accommodates larger tools, and that could go both ways, because me and Josh are large and we're both tools. So I'm kidding. But you can put large squeegees and stuff in there, large washers, and it's not all in your armpit, Like I said, it's not loud, ba-bang, ba-bang, ba-bang. Everybody knows when a window cleaner's coming. I don't know. All right, Aaron Bronow just hit me up again. He just asked about, because he was posted earlier in here, let me tell him. Hey, Aaron, I'm doing the podcast right now, and I'm going to answer this question for you, and that and the Ed polls question. I'm going to answer both of them. The one you posted in 101 and this private message you just sent me. I have used those blue polls before, and they will suffice, but there's a caveat to that. So if you want to listen to the podcast, you'll hear my answer. That was cool. Real time shit. But he asked me about these blue poles from Walmart, or not Walmart, but Lowe's and Home Depot. Home Depot carries the Unger, the blue version of the Unger pole, and that is a consumer grade pole. Once you have a professional grade Unger pole or an Ed pole or whatever you use, you'll be able to tell the difference between a professional grade pole and a consumer grade pole. The finish is going to be off. The end caps are going to be fused on. Your cone, your tool attachment there at the top is going to be pressed on. And the locking mechanism is going to be so-so. But if you need a pole in a pinch, they're cheap. I think they're like $18 or $19. The one that I most commonly use on a regular daily basis, day in, day out, window cleaning pole is the 4-foot that extends to an 8-foot. That's my most used pole I have. I do a lot of storefront and a lot of residential work. That big windows, they're high up off the ground because they're close to the lake. So you need a little, a longer, not a long pole, but one you can break down. So you can. That's just the perfect height for me is that one, and I've had my green one now for 6 years. Same pole. It does have a little bit of window cleaner bow in it. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. That little bit of a bow you put from, if you use a pole enough, it's gonna grow with you. If that's a good way to say it. But the tips are replaceable on the professional grade Unger poles. You can take that locking mechanism that tightens down right there. You could take that completely apart, replace all the guts, or just the collar, or just the guts, whatever you want to do. You can replace that the sliding section. You can replace that too. You don't have to buy a whole pole every time. If you just need one part, you just buy one part. That's what's cool about the professional grade ones. The blue ones, I guess you could do that, but you're gonna have to whack that end off, drill a hole to get the green cone to go on it, and it's never gonna be. It's made, I think, of a lighter gauge and lower quality metal than what the professional grade is. And that's the same with the Ettore stuff. When you buy a pole from Lowe's or Home Depot, they're not bad poles. And if it's cheaper for you, if you're just starting out in the business, and you're just getting your stuff together, there's nothing wrong with that. But keep in mind, if you use that long enough and don't replace it and, end up waiting and end up buying another blue pole, you've already spent the money that you would have had one good pole, and you'd have it forever instead of having two poles. You're just tossing them in the shit pile or whatever. My suggestion would be, if you need a pole now, that's great. Go ahead and grab that, but put the money aside to get yourself some quality commercial grade poles, and you won't regret it. I don't know how Ettore poles are or any other brand poles. I've used Unger exclusively from the very first day that I started cleaning windows. It's always been Unger poles. It's always been the green ones. Occasionally the blue ones, because like I said, occasionally, sometimes something happens and you need a pole, like you forgot one at home. I'm going to do a video, you guys. It's hilarious. But you forget a tool at home, you leave it on a job, somebody steals it, whatever, you need a pole right now. There's nothing wrong with that. It will get you by. But you're going to end up buying more of those. I've gone through 3 of those blue poles since in the time that I've had one green one. I unfortunately, when people come and work for you, they lose your shit sometimes. So, and I just, now I'm like, if you're coming to help, you can just have that pole. Here's a $20 blue pole for you. But if it's just you, or you got good employees that, most guys, they take that, they do what they can when they first start out, but once you start to upgrade your tools, you'll see the difference in the performance, and your bottom line will come down. You know what I mean? You make those initial investments in tools and stuff, and that will pay you back in the long run. Like, it's really unrealistic to think that you got to buy a new squeegee every year. I mean, I've had, until it recently got stolen, I had the same 22-inch channel for like 6 years. You know what I mean? Same way with my brass channel. I mean, I've had a couple of channels, but that handle, I've went through 2 channels and I still have the same handle. You know what I mean? I've bought the new Ninja handles, and that's because of the locking mechanism. I like that. I like to lock it in straight position if I want to, if I'm working real high on the end of a pole. It's nice to be able to lock out. Or if I'm kind of mid-range and I want a fan on a pole, I can unlock that and it'll swivel like I want to. And then once it's in my hand, I like a fixed-handled squeegee. I don't like the sloppy. For me, it's just more fatigue on my hands. My hands and my wrists, after swinging a hammer and twisting wrenches with my grandpa and now cleaning windows, my grip strength is still good, but my hands get tired a little easier. But, you're like, The blue poles are decent poles, man. I like them better than those twist lock Ettore poles that they sell at Lowe's. They're way better than those. So that's a start. They might. I mean, you got to be careful. They may bend. The Ettore poles are kind of not as bad with that, but the locks on those Ettore poles, those consumer grade ones, are no good. You got to get a professional grade Ettore pole, or because my boss used to use he had a nice Ettore pole and he swore by it. And I just, me and his brother, who was my friend, we just preferred the Unger poles. So just because we like the handles for Ungers and stuff like that stuff, because we use the 0 degree and everything, just it's to me. I like to use a pole that goes with my handle. It's made for each other. I don't like to fiddle fart fuck around with things or modify them. I just like using shit that works. So, But I hope that answers your question, man. I have used them before. They're decent poles. Yeah, Aaron went ahead and bought the poles, which is not, like I'd said in the podcast, it's not a bad idea, man. If you need a pole, and I mean, for the price, you really can't beat it. But you'll be able to, the difference between the consumer grade and the professional grade. If you like that pole right there, the blue one, you're gonna want the professional version. Trust me, that pole will make you want the professional, the green version that you order from Detroit Sponge or Windows 101. You know what I mean? So I think you'll like it. Yeah, $33 for 2 of them. Oh, he bought the 3-section. Yeah, that's not bad for 3 sections of 3-section pole. What is that, like a 16-foot pole or a 12-footer? But either way, that's not bad for 2 poles a piece at $66. You add another $20 to that, and you'd have the professional version. You know what I mean? Just keep that in mind. I mean, you do have to pay a little bit for shipping, but you'd have the professional version for maybe $25 more. And then you can rebuild that pole for as long as you have it. You can buy each piece of that pole, and if you like, the lock goes bad, the cone goes bad, the whatever. But you can't do that with the blue ones because everything's kind of press fit on. But the green poles, you can replace everything. So I explained that to him on the podcast. So you guys got to hear a little bit of T Squeegee and Aaron, the Squeegee guys, man. Those two, him and his brother, the Squeaky Clean. Is that what it? No, it's not Squeaky Clean. Oh man. Oh jeez. He's gonna be mad because I don't know. Squeaky Clean. That's what it is. Squeaky Clean Windows from Indianapolis, and those guys are getting it, man. I wouldn't even mind having him on so he could tell us his story if you feel comfortable enough to come on the podcast here, and that'd be cool, man. We're cool with that. That'd be awesome because Aaron kind of shared a few things with me about how he's been doing it, and it's fucking like it's pretty cool. It's inspiring, man. You guys are out there kicking ass the hard way. I like that. So that's kick ass. More power to you, man. Squeegee Life, get that money, cuz. You know what I mean? Get it. Get out there and get it. It's the busy season, and I know I said something about this before, but like I want to reiterate this. Make sure you're hydrated and your skin's protected out there, guys. You don't want to get sick. That's the worst thing that can happen to you in the summertime. But main thing is don't give up the ship, because I tell you what, sometimes it gets daunting. For me, a lot. It sucks sometimes, man. So, just keep after it, guys. Keep yourself protected on them ladders. Make sure you answer all those phone calls and turn all those bids in, because that's the shit when you turn in your bids and you make some money. And always, 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 when you bid a new job, make sure you bid it properly the first time. And if there's extra circumstances where you've got to scrub a little harder or scrape or do extra work, make sure you charge them that first time for the extra work, because you most likely, if you get it on a regular basis, you won't have to do that every time you do it, because you're going to have to do it once for sure, man. So always remember that, and do always do you. Always do you. So, I don't know. I don't even, I mean, I've only done 34 minutes. I don't know what else to talk about. Maybe we'll look in the group here. Maybe Aaron sent me another message. He's probably like, man, why are you reading these on the podcast, man? Yeah, he said he needed them today, like now. So I get it. So, I mean, for the money, I'm telling you, you're going to like them, man. Yeah, you'll like those blue poles. Once you use those blue poles, man, and you're ready for your next set of poles, you'll buy those green ones and you won't turn back. Like I said, man, I've been rocking the same pole for 6 years. You know what I mean? It's a good pole, man. I have another one, but I hardly ever use it. I don't need to use it, you know. And then I have two blue ones too, you know, for when I have yum yums working for me. That I like to leave shit places, but um, it's it's you do what you got to do, man. Adapt and overcome, man. You ain't got to do no splaining to me. You know what I mean? Some people will bust your chops about, why don't you go buy professional grade tools? Well, maybe that's just what he needs to do right now. I forgot that some of you guys woke up, you came out the womb and dropped into a, step dead feet first right into a fucking pile of gold. Mr. Money Man, Mr. On Top all of the time. Mr. On Top since day one, you know what I mean? All you fellers that are like that out there, man. Everybody's got to start somewhere, man. Be humble, man. This dude asked a question in the group and motherfuckers just jumped all over him, you know what I mean? I was just kind of like I told him the same thing, the same way I told him on here, man. It'll work for you, you know, I think maybe you might want to try out a professional pole eventually. I think once you see what he's doing is a smart thing. He's kind of, because they're just, the concepts are just about the same with the poles that he's using. So, and he'll get a feel for the brand and what he likes better. And then when he gets to, puts that next foot in front of the last foot he just stepped forward from, he'll be in a better position and he can buy better equipment. I mean, that's how it works. I guess some guys, like the pressure washing guys out there, they'll be like, I'm just starting out. And these guys be like, you need a 10 gallon per minute, fuck, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 setup to start out window pressure washing. Come on, man. I mean, is that how all you guys started? I mean, your dad rich or something? I mean, shit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, I shouldn't have said that, but it's the same way with some window cleaners, man. I got another guy in here. There is another question in here. I do remember. Let me look for it. But yeah, some people are just like, no, man, this is what you need. Man, that's hard to do. A lot of us are I'm on a budget. Sometimes you just gotta fucking get shit done, man. There's nothing you can do. I mean, sometimes you gotta have that shit now. And you gotta go make that money. Mike Lee asked, can you build a water-fed pole and screen washers for cheaper and they work just as good or better? Listen, man, I'm going to say something. I seen a guy commenting about his screen washer and how he's charging his customers more now because he's got a screen washer, and people call him up just because he's got a screen washer and all this other jazz. Come on, dude. You can. I mean, you can. I mean, you could purify water into a tank and get you a pump and however you want it, a power source, and hook some hose up to it and get a brush and do it cheap, and you could buy a good brush and a good. My suggestion would be is buy a good brush and a good pole. The pure water thing, it will be easy to do. There's ways around that. You could make your pure water and use your pure water, put it in a tank and just pump the pure water out of a tank. It won't be able to sit in there for long though, but you got to use what you make, so you got to kind of be a good judge of that. But you could do anything on a budget, but my personal opinion, at least you want to buy something that's efficient, and you can do handmade, but I think the water fed pole, like on an aluminum pole and shit like that, you're kind of defeating the purpose. You might as well just get the ladder out. You know what I mean? My suggestion would be is wait for a sale to drop, go get a pole, and then you can build around the pole. The pure water system, you can purify water. I mean, you don't have to buy one of these systems that you purify water on site. You could get a DI tank, man, and with resin, and you just hook it up and just go to town. You know what I mean? There's no more DIY than that. Get yourself a pole. I mean, I'm fairly certain Mark Tanner still uses, and he's got hydro carts, and he still occasionally uses the DI cartridges. Just plug in your shit and go. So. But I think the initial investment you'll need to make is a pole, a water-fed pole, whichever one you can afford or feel is necessary. I stress enough that just because it's cheap doesn't mean that the guy selling the pole has got your shoulders or how often you use it in mind. He's just selling a pole, and that goes for anybody selling a pole. You want to buy something with good reviews from window cleaners, and there's a bunch of poles out there that a lot of different guys like, so I'm not shilling for one here. There's several good poles on the market you guys can try out, and you'll like it, or you won't like it. But the extra money spent on a water-fed pole is money well spent for your body and your peace of mind and your pocketbook, because you don't want to buy things 2 or 3 times. It's best just to save. Some people even finance, you know what I mean? There's companies out there that finance, but, you can get a DI, it escapes me. I said it before, but you can go get the Culligan tubes and go to town, with your DI resin, and go to town and then take that in, have it cleaned, or trade it in for another one. You could do it that way. That's, and buy a booster pump and just booster it if you need to go high. But that's what I would do, man. The initial investment, just save for a decent pole, man. Get yourself a good pole. That's my suggestion, Mike. Get a good pole and a good brush, and all the other shit will come. I mean, the purifying water is the easy part, man. Cleaning those windows with a water-fed pole, it needs to be efficient, and it needs to give. You need to be able to get good results with what you're using, because if you don't, you're just going to end up wasting time, and you might as well just been on the ladder. So you buy a cheap ass fiberglass pole or something aluminum junk. Carbon fiber. There's a lot of companies out there. Tucker Poles, Reach It. Northern Light. All kinds. There's all kinds. There's all kinds of stuff out there, man. Find you something, set that goal. Like I said, some places even finance, and do it to it, man. If you have the work that justifies having that water fed pole, or you want to break into that market, get doing 3 stories and above, 3-story. I use mine for around 3-4 stories, and then after that, it's kind of, I don't really dick with it. That's not my forte, and if it is that high, sometimes I've got to get a lift if it's a first time clean, but whatever. Whatever works for you, but I would make the investment in the pole. The purifying water is the easy part, man. That's for sure, and that's just my opinion. The pure water is the easy part. Richie's, what's it, Oleg? Is that his name? Reese Oleg? Yeah, Reese Oldag is live and Outlaw Window Cleaner now. I wish I could watch it, but I'm talking to you guys. Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't. I mean, you could get a brush. You can get those little kits and stuff. But man, I just think you're asking for trouble, man. You're just gonna end up spending more money in the long run, you know. So you'll know water fed pole if you're ready for one. You know what I mean? If you got, I mean, it's gonna make you more efficient. Especially if you do things 2 stories. You know, you need to get a ladder on, but you do them regularly. I don't know if I said that right or not, but if you do them a lot, that water fed pole comes in handy, man. It's nice for that. So I don't know. Yep, I'm having a monster. I'm tired. I gotta go out to my cousin's 50th birthday party. It's this evening, so and I worked this morning early, out at the amusement park today. So I'm just, it's been a long week, and I've got 3 extremely packed up, super busy weeks ahead of me. Super busy. So, so this is gonna be my last hurrah. Um, I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of what else. Everyone's always saying, you know, this or that at the third. Oh, I did just recently. Just recently, I just realized I got a green hat on, so this ought to be fun. I just recently built my first beast brush. I had a constructor brush that I changed over, you know, the bristles out once, but this time I was like, you know, I'm gonna buy some beast bristles and try the beast out, and dude, I like it a lot. I really like that brush a lot. I don't know if mine's set up. I'll show you in the video. I'll post up probably tomorrow, which will be Sunday or Monday. The kind of what it looks like. I don't know if that's standard. I don't know, but I just ran with it. I did what I thought was right with it, and I really, really like the results from that brush. I'm a bronze brush guy, but sometimes the bronze brush is a little more than you need, and wasting the bronze pads sucks. So I tried the beast out. I got beast bristles all the way around, and I got the short. Where's that? Oh, I got these. I got these in the center. They kind of didn't want to fit, so I had to cut some off to make it fit in there between the beast bristles. But man, it works really good. I really like it. It's good. They're sweet. So I think I'm gonna buy. I want to get the updated version of the constructor brush. I like I like the carbon fiber look, so I'm gonna buy strictly on vanity. That, and I like the brush I want to have, but I want a larger brush. I have all of my brushes are 12-inch brushes, and I don't know why, but I don't know if it's just habit, because I've always had 12-inch brushes on my pole, but I want a 16. I'd like to try a larger brush to see if it's even, you know, that much better. I guess for me it's pressure, and I don't know if you know, with a bigger brush it's gonna be a little more difficult to get things clean, or if it will be in fact faster. But either way, I'm gonna try. I want a 16-inch. So, and I don't know if they come in 16. I hope they do. If not, I'm gonna buy me a 16-inch brush and tinker with it a little bit. But outside of that, man, guys, I'm out of shit to say. There's no one here to talk to. I'm all alone. Nobody wants to be my friend. No, I'm sure if I asked one of the guys to get on here, they would have done it, because it's Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They would have probably done it. But you know, it is what it is today, guys. I hope I answered some questions there for some guys. I've kind of went off the deep end the last couple weeks. So push your button. Yep. So Aaron likes his blue poles. I told you, man. I told you, and I'm telling you, you like those blue ones. Those green ones are even better, man. I'm telling you, the green ones are even better than those. So if you can imagine them being better, trust me, they're better than that. I've got some more. I got some more stickers to get out. They're already in the envelopes and the stamps on. I couldn't get to it this week. I just too tired. I had too much shit going on. But and I got a box of stuff I'm sending to Mike Lee. Some stuff I had laying around that I don't have any use for. I ain't touched in 3 years, so it's his. So I don't know, man. I do I got a couple of videos coming out this week. I got to edit and do all the stuff with. I fucked up Friday morning big time. I got up earlier than normal and went out because I had to get a couple of jobs done and then hit this bid and then get back into town and finish these other two jobs before 10 o'clock. But I had an hour's gap in between those four jobs, so I had two real early and then the other two a little later. And I was like, well, I'm going to run out and get this bid done because it was almost 30 minutes away. So I was like, I need to go get this done. They weren't home anyways. It's a vacation home. So I drove up, had a look, came back, and I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about anymore. Oh, yeah. But I've got a couple videos coming soon. You guys, essentially what happened was I left everything at home. I took all my tools out of the truck, right, to do rubber swaps, handle tightens, recalibrate all my tools, get everything ready for the next couple weeks because it's going to be hard body karate. So I want to make sure everything's in order. I have everything on the truck I need, and it's there, and we're ready to rock and roll every day. And everyone's got a setup in the vehicles. We're ready to go. But I left everything everything sitting in my office because I brought everything in the office to do a video on the gunslinger, and had a couple of beers and woke up in the morning early because I fell asleep super early. And I tried to watch. I watched one movie with the kids and then went to watch another one, Dazed and Confused, because I had two teenage daughters. And I like the movie too. I think it's awesome. But I wish I would have been born in the 70s. It would have been so much cooler. But being an 80s and 90s kid, it is what it is. It was still cool. I left everything at home, guys. Like I had like a 16-inch brass squeegee in the truck with no rubber in it, but I had rubber in the truck. An 18-inch 0 degree with an 18-inch S Plus channel with a 0 degree handle, and I had a shitload of windows, and I was like 30 minutes from the house. I'm like, I'm not. I mean, it's an hour round trip. I can't. So I just did them with what I had. Bad day. I still got it all done though, on time, like I normally do. I just had to make some sacrifices. But you guys will get a kick out of it. Me being a dummy, dumbass dude. So we all have our days, man. Last Friday was my day. As you guys could see, those two videos were a shit show the day before. So you know where I was coming. That's the place I was coming from. So, I don't know, man. I really appreciate you guys listening to these. Like I said, send an email to cnwcohio@aol.com. In the subject, just ask T Squeegee, and just you don't have to ask me a question. You got a story or an anecdote, or you want to call me an asshole, or you got a funny story, or whatever the case may be. Anything. Write me an email and I'll read it on the podcast in the order that they came, and the next podcast I'll read it. So. I guess I'll keep saying this, and then until someone actually writes an email. But or if you want to be a guest, email me. And I think that's another way. If people don't want to be guests on the podcast, they could always just email me. Just email me. You can be part of the show vicariously. You could be a regular emailer So, it's been real, guys. I appreciate your time, and this is Squeegee Life with T Squeegee.